It'll be robots working on robots that work on robots with some specialized technicians, but they'll all be eugenicists who believe in the holy work. No, you think I'm joking. Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. Let's go ahead and talk to Ronald in D.C. Ronald, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex. How's it going? It's an honor to be on your show right now.
Honored to have you with us.
Yeah, but basically I wanted to talk to you about the police state that you were talking about in your films. And I recently just moved to Washington, D.C., and my friend lives in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, recently told me that they installed these cameras on top of the telephone poles to monitor people on the streets, and what had happened was...
Yeah, that's part of the kill grid. Again, first they said it was for traffic, and it did have dual use for that. Now they go, oh, the cameras are for you, and they're face scanning you and reading your license plate. Oh, it's Pentagon designed. Go ahead.
Yeah, and what had happened is the reason why I think he found out about this was this guy broke into somebody's car or something like that, and then the next day the cops just ran up to his house and pulled him out of his house, and we're like, yeah, we got you on camera breaking this guy's car, and the guy was like, I didn't know you guys had cameras, and so they...
Yeah, and of course it has a use, and then they're going to statistically only bust a certain amount to fill their prisons, and they're artificially turning the economy off where people won't be able to live without stealing, and then you get half the public in prison and half the public running the grid. And, you know, people spying on the watchers, and they'll burn lots of watchers and lots of cops on TV to make everybody get into accepting it. It'll all be run by the psych warfare chiefs.
And the thing about it is, like, Elizabeth City is a really rural town. It was, like, probably the last place I would thought there would be, like, a police state control grid there, you know, because there's probably a population of, like, 50,000 people. So, which I found really ironic.
I know, my friend, it's bad news. I appreciate your call. No, the most rural areas, you'll be out in the middle of nowhere at a four-way stop, a town that's maybe got 6, 7 houses in it. There'll be four-way stop cameras, high-power digital face scan, biometric walk scan, license plate scan, all Pentagon run. Pentagon openly brags about it. Godlike control, because they're control freaks. And the Pentagon boys line up and take their shots, and they die of their cancer like they're supposed to, and they drink their fluoride water and say, yes, sir! So do the police, because it's all part of being part of the power structure. All part of laughing at Alex Jones. It's so funny. But it is 2009, boys, and you're not in Kansas anymore. Let's go ahead and take another call here. Let's talk to Joe in Texas. Joe, you're on the air.
Hi, Alex. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Listen, a couple of things I wanted to mention. First of all, I think intelligence and information is very important. I know you touched base on it the other day. And anybody out there that has access to certain information that the public should know should get it out. And one thing I wanted to tell you that I saw a few years ago is a guy that I worked with was he was an assistant to a high military officer, and during Desert Storm 1, he goes, I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to show you something that no one knows about. And he showed us a picture of a private meeting that he went to with Schwarzkopf and his cabinet members and Saddam Hussein and his cabinet members all meeting together. Another guy was sitting there looking at that. He goes, oh, you should turn that into Spy Magazine. And the guy was like, no way. He goes, I don't want to get killed, you know. And, you know, I tell people all the time, people say to me, they say, look, you shouldn't be talking about all this stuff, you know, about 9/11 and such. I'm going to say, look, I'd rather die a free man getting the information out that I think is true than to sit and cower down and do nothing, because that's what they did in Nazi Germany. And the other thing I wanted to mention, Alex, is I grew up in church, and a while back, Pastor Steven Anderson was on Albright's show, and I was the last caller to call in. And
yeah, we've had Anderson on here. He's the guy that got beat up by the 100-mile deep checkpoint.
Yes, sir. And I remember that. I had started listening to him a month or so before that happened, and I was very surprised when I heard about it. And so anyway, I was the last caller to call in, and I said to Steve, because Steve's a post-tribulationist, and I told Steve, I said, Steve, you know, the problem with the church today is so many people in the church are so wrapped up in the pre-trib stuff that they don't believe they're even going to be here when this happens.
No, that's why the media gave it all attention and sold 100 million books for Tim LaHaye and all those guys, is because that was never taught till 100 years ago. It's totally made up. And I talk to these little church ladies, you know, with their hair all done, and they go, praise God, it's the end. I'll be teleported out soon. No, you're not, lady. And so it's just the ultimate delusion, and so they're standing down because their churches are openly run by the federal government.
Yes, sir. And see, the thing is, though, him and Catherine Albright got to talking about it. He goes, I brought that up, and she wanted to talk to him more about it after the program because she's on the same sheet of music, apparently. But the other thing I was going to ask is if you ever thought about doing a video on how some of these big church leaders like Rick Warren, Joel Osteen, even John Hagee have people like McCain, Obama, and all these people in their churches. And I get so sick of hearing this conservative Christian crap that it's like, you know what, guys, these guys are a part of it, too. You know,
I hear you, and I appreciate your call. What did Pat Robertson say when Obama was elected? He said, it's of the Lord, socialism is good, America will accept it, and that he thinks Obama's good. And he said, it's foreordained, it is of God, stand down. He might as well have been in a Borg outfit saying, resistance is futile. And that's what all the big Christian leaders said. They said, do what the president says, it is ordained, it is of the Lord, stand down, GI, lay down, GI. Do what we say. They're openly on government payroll. Because they never get audited. They never get messed with. And then the preachers can dress like little pimps in their little suits and have their little info babe wives and little pinky rings. And they are bought and paid for intellectual, spiritual prostitutes. They are demons of the pit of Hades. And they sit there lying to their flock. That's their job. They work for Old Scratch. People always ask why I print every story. Well, because they pull stories, and Fox News, AP, and others pulled the flesh-eating robot story with the Pentagon developing robots that feed themselves off enemies, which, of course, is a violation of the rule of law and the rules of war, the Geneva Convention. But if you're going to torture people and torture their kids in front of them to get answers, as the Pentagon admits, why not have the robots feed on dead bodies? I mean, that's they all see us as human resources anyways. That's the big bioethicist eugenics terms. See, everything's eugenics, the terms they use in business, everything. Well, guess what? We printed 2 copies of it. We happen to have it. We're going to have to scan that up on the web and point out that it was censored for some reason. Because it did have the company bragging that it could eat dead bodies. And then magically they took it down, but we printed it. So I'll have to, when we go live at prisonplanet.tv, coming up in about 35 minutes, we'll go live when we have Ted Pike on with us. I'm going to go over that. Then Rand Paul, Robert Wilcox, and others. And, of course, your phone calls coming up right now, in fact. Who is first here? Daniel in California. You're on the air, Daniel. Welcome.
Hey, Alex. Just wanted to send some great kudos to Jason Burmis and to you specifically. Just woke me up completely about 2 years ago when I saw Loose Change. Then I ended up watching just about every other program that you guys have put together. So keep that up. And I've been sharing this information for at least 2 years now. And I'm part of a few organizations now that I never actually thought about before that. Been in the food industry for 20 years, engineering, generally speaking, in plant-wide operations. And I can without a doubt, let you know that all of the things that you talk about, the things that are in these videos, absolutely hit the mark. They hit the mark. And what happened along the way was I started looking up in the sky and started doing monitoring on all of the spraying that goes on in the skies here in the Central Valley. so got hooked up with the California Skywatch. And so basically I do logs on all of these items and call specific organizations that I've finally found who...
Well, for those that don't know, yes, you're finding like-minded people, and there's nothing better than that camaraderie and those soulmates in this fight for freedom. But our team is in California right now with California Skywatch, and California Skywatch and Skywatch around the world, just like We Are Change, it's spreading everywhere. InfoWars groups, Liberty Committee groups. Whatever you do, just start a group, and they are, Skywatch has got new footage at meetings where the universities are openly admitting on video that they are chemtrailing us, and that, yes, it's bad for the earth, but we have to do that to save you from the global warming. So